what you just said. He could have been ejected, so it wasn't necessarily the smartest thing to do. But I'm glad he stood up for himself because nobody else did. I don't think anybody else really saw what happened because I think that they were really off in the cut a little bit. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if everybody saw. But when he stuck up for himself, I was really proud because I'm like, ain't no way that this team continues to manhandle us and we don't do anything about it. I've never seen anything like it in the Cavs. They're the they're the good guys, they're the good team, and I'm just wondering because they haven't played that way all season. So
Right.
I'm wondering if they think our skill level will outmatch their physicality. And I think that's what they were thinking. But no, you got to get in the hard fouls. You got to show them that they can't play that way against y'all. Y'all got to be tough right back. You know what I'm saying? When DeAndre Hunter got fouled that time, which caused his injury of dislocated finger, nobody got up because the guy stood over him for a
Right.
little bit. I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. The guy stood over him for a little
Yeah.
bit. Nobody came and pushed him. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
did anything. So that
Nobody checked him.
signifies.
Nobody backed DeAndre Hunter up, and that's not good. You got to let him know that you're not just going to roll over and stand around and be beat down.
And I hesitate to call people soft because you're talking about people's manhood and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't like calling people soft,
Neither
you
do
know.
I. Mm-mm.
And one person I heard called them soft because they don't have any tattoos. Darius Garland does have a tattoo. I'm not a tattoo person. Do you have
Neither
any
am I.
tattoos, Sandra?
No, no,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. I promised my dad I would never do it. And I'm okay with that. I mean, because that is somebody digging in your skin with a needle. You don't really know where the needle has been.
For
Plus,
hours.
you die and stuff like that. I have all kinds of allergies. I can't do that kind of stuff. And to me,
Yeah.
tattoo do nothing to me.
Uh-huh.
No. That's
I don't believe in tattoos, so I don't believe in getting any or anything like that. That's not me. Darius Garland does have one on his leg, but he doesn't have any on his chest or anything like that. And most of the Cavs in that locker room, because I do see their bodies, they don't have any tattoos. So somebody said that makes them not tough. I don't necessarily know if you don't have tattoos, if that doesn't make you tough.
no. That has no bearing on anything. It could make you a little bit crazy, a little bit out there. I don't know, but to each his own. I'm not into the skinning. I don't like it. Not
Yeah,
into
but
it.
this whole series, they've shown that they're not going to match the physicality. And right now, the physicality is outweighing their skills. And that's a problem for the Cavs. And yesterday, they switched to yesterday in the blowout. Well, they attempted to get things under control a little bit and switched out to that 2-3-3-2 zone, I believe.
Hmm.
And all that enabled the Pacers to do is to be able to get to the basket. So you got those easy points, and that's been happening all series long. You've been allowing them to get to the basket. You've been allowing them to get to the perimeter and shoot over you. It just has not been a recipe for success for the Cavs. And how do you get back to Cavs basketball when the team is determined to not let you play it? Hey, Kate, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good to see you.
I got lots of tattoos. That's very tough. So
You're the crazy person that allows somebody to poke them
Crazy
with a
people.
needle.
Crazy people.
Yeah.
Artistic types. Crazy people.
Uh-huh. I can't do it.
I
I
think it's
admire
good.
those who can
I
sit
got
for
my
hours
virtual
and get it
background on. You
done.
can't see my ink.
I fainted when I was getting my eyebrows threaded. So that just lets you
You
know
did.
about my pain tolerance.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
No. I'm like, nobody called 911.
So how many tats do you have, Kate? And are any of them Guardians or Cavs or Browns?
So yes, I don't know if I can. Let me try something.
Try to digitally show us. Wait, whoa. Okay. Oh wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. She went all the way. Hey. I see the the C and the sword, the Cavalier sword. All right.
There's a Cavalier
Yeah,
sword.
Ohio
Hey,
There's
State.
an Ohio
hey.
State Buckeyes. There's a O. Could you
Wow.
see him? I can't see behind me, so I can't
Yeah.
tell.
No, you did pretty good. You did pretty good. I could clearly see the Cavaliers sword. I couldn't make
Yes.
out the Ohio State one, but go on with your bad self.
Do
No,
you,
All
you
right.
have a
it's a
Guardians one?
Blanco.
You're giving us
I have
some.
Guardians.
So above it is it says CLE. It's got
Okay.
an infinity with CLE, and it's got each of the colors. I don't have a Guardians one yet because I want to have some work done on my Browns helmet, and so I got to figure out how much room I have left for the Guardians.
Okay. All right.
But
That was
then my
cool.
whole upper back is stuff. Both my arms, my forearm, my ankles. But
Hey.
then it's maybe it's a thing of it. People who have them, I think, have a certain kind of mental toughness,
Yeah.
a certain creativity, a certain pain tolerance. But I don't think it says anything at all about someone who doesn't have any.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
some of the same stuff, like people don't have them or this, that, or the other. And I'm like, no, it's not their thing. Right? Like
Right. Right.
some people ride motorcycles. I can't ride a motorcycle. I'm scared to ride a motorcycle. I hate wearing high heels. Like I don't carry a purse. Like people like what they like. They don't like what they don't like. It doesn't mean one way or another, if you have them or you don't have them. I think when I was coming up in like the 70s, 80s, my mom was against them. She was like, hood rats have those and thugs and criminals. And, I'm at the doctor's office and my nurse has her ear gauged with this giant thing and her nose is all pierced and she's got ink all over. I'm like, you used to couldn't get a job if you had them. Now,
Nobody cares now. Nobody cares now.
No.
No one for individuality.
I am so stressed about what I saw in that Cavs game last night. I can't even. It's just, this is not, I understood the injuries, but, and then the game 3 was good. Last night, that was not the team I was promised. That was not the game I was promised. That was not the way they're supposed to play. We got our 3 guys back and it didn't matter. Nobody hit nothing. You can't have a bad game. You're now down 3-1. Now you got to win 3. Now you got to go back to Indiana. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, the Pacers have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and they're trying to prove something, if people have just overlooked them. When I hear conversations about the finals, it's the Cavs, it's Boston, it's the Knicks. It's not ever been from anybody, the Pacers. And yet, when the play-in games were done and the brackets were laid out, there were quite a few people, Celtics fan and Celtics media, who said they were very happy to be on that side of the bracket and not have to play Indiana. So Indiana's a tough team. They're going to give you trouble, but if you're a championship caliber team, you got to overcome that. We are still letting them play their game. We are not making them play ours, and I think that's more coaching than anything. Our second string and deep reserves looked better on the court last night than our starters did. And that's just, it's very depressing. I went to the Guardians game and then listened to the Cavs game. I'm looking at it on my phone going, we are not down by 41 points at halftime. I may never leave downtown. I may just stay in the Guardians. And then we listened to it and then I watched the last of it at home and it was just, I can't even. And then the Guardians couldn't score a run, so that was depressing.
And you didn't tell me you was there.
I told you a couple weeks ago I was going to go, and then I forgot that we had tickets. And then, like in the middle of the day, my sister-in-law's like, "So we're going to go out to dinner before the game. Do you want to join us?" And I'm like, "Game?" Like, kid, I sent you tickets a month ago, and I'm like, "Oh, you did. So much for my chill Mother's Day." I had to go get dressed and do my hair. Well, get out of my pajamas and do my hair and get ready to go somewhere. So. It was fun. The weather was nice. It was a little chilly, but if if you're from Cleveland, you own long sleeves. I had on a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie. I was fine. I think my sister-in-law had on earmuffs and 3 blankets and, but it was a nice game, nice evening for a ball game, but it was just depressing to have both of our teams play yesterday and they both lost, but the Guardians didn't look as terrible as the Cavs did. I don't know.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Right.
My birthday's not till next week. You
Okay.
got a week till my birthday, Rach.
Huh?
You got a week till my birthday, the 19th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. But what a way to bomb out all the moms.
Yeah. It definitely depressed all the moms, let me tell you. I think this team, talent-wise, from what I saw in the regular season, could easily win 3 games in a row. They started the season, 15? And then they had at least 2 more streaks of 12 games or more. So they could easily get on a run and win the next 3. They've just made it harder on themselves by not taking care of it last night. That I wonder if that 1-point game, that buzzer beater,
game 2
got in their head a little bit. Because they had a nice lead and then they eased back up off it. And they did that thing that Kenny Atkinson's complained about all during the season. You cannot let up when you have a lead. You need to keep your foot on the gas. You need to keep doing all the things, all the small things, all the fundamental things. And they didn't. They let the Pacers right back into game 2 and lost it at the buzzer. And I wonder if there's some of that in their heads. I would have thought Donovan Mitchell would be the one, talking to them and saying, listen, I'm the veteran. I've been here. I've done that. Here's what we need to do. Like, get in their heads where they need to have it at. I don't know. I think they're capable of winning 3 in a row. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to go down to the Jack and put money on it.
Hey, I was going to ask you about your betting average and your purse and all of that. She said you don't carry one. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't have the
like
heart
on the
to put money
Kentucky
in it.
Derby. I have those apps. I throw $5 on a horse. Like for stuff in the Super Bowl, I throw $20 on the Browns to win the Super Bowl every year. I might as well just take a 20 and burn it in my backyard. But I do those weird things. But my daughter's boyfriend he does the parlays. He does this guy's going to score this. Like he does all the betting things when we're watching the games. And it's very interesting. He makes enough to keep playing. Doesn't make enough to quit his job, but he makes enough that it's like his sort of his hobby and his little spending thing. So I think they're capable of winning the next 3. I just don't know that I'd put money on them to do it.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
I would never put money on it. I never bet on any sporting events, but especially not Cavs or Browns. Never. Good or bad.
I like to bet on my own teams. I feel like I'm a jinx.
Well, one of the things is that they're getting out hustled to every ball. They're losing 50-50 balls. And in game 2, they got out hustled to that rebound. And there was Cavs standing right there when that rebound bounced off of the rim.
Yep.
There was Cavs standing right there, and they didn't even try to grab it. They let Tyrese Halliburton come in, and it was a penalty that wasn't called, and the NBA did confirm, you should have won that game.
Well, they should have. There was a couple calls they missed, and that frustrates me because, Rachel, we talk about this during football season. Don't do me no good for you to realize 2 days later that you messed it up because you can't fix it. There's no way to fix those other than to be more aware moving the forward. But especially a Cleveland team, the Cavaliers should be familiar with the fact that the refs are going to call the game a certain way. They're not going to get the calls they want to get. You can't pout because you didn't get a call and miss going after a rebound and then he scores a game winner.
So you should have run after the rebound because you see that the officials are letting this physicality take place and you're not getting the calls we haven't got calls all year. So they should be used to that by now.
You gotta keep playing.
You don't let the officials determine what happens at the end of the game. And that was the thing. They let Tyrese Halliburton get to that ball when it was other Cavs right there, and he made a shot. He's a professional.
Exactly. It should have never been a 2-point game or a 3-point game.
No.
Whether they call that penalty or not, should it matter? You let it get to that close. If you're up by 20 and he doesn't call it, it doesn't matter.
They led by 20 points. So they let a 20-point lead slip.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, they had to take some accountability for what happened in game 2, where they find themselves in a situation that they at. And yesterday, they just could not make a shot. There were times when shots were there and they just couldn't sink them. Their 3-point shooting is terrible. Ty Jerome is terrible. Dean Wade is terrible. And they started game 2. Ty Jerome gives you 2 points and Dean Wade gives you 3 points. And these are starters. And you still led by 20. Yep. Donovan Mitchell has been doing everything he possibly can for this team to win. And I'm not mad at him because he left it out on the line. one of the things is he has a strained calf, and that injury could become worse later down the line, but he's still playing. He's still here. He's still trying to do everything possible to have this team win. If anything, he shouldn't have started games 1 and 2, but he did, because he's like, I'm gonna tough it out and I'm gonna play hurt. And I hate people playing hurt, but it's what must be done. You got to get out there and you got to play.
But there's a smart way to play hurt. I'm not saying I need Evan Mobley for 40 minutes. Can I have him for 3? When we get to the second quarter, you're nearing halftime, or the fourth quarter and they're on a run and you need somebody to come in, I'd rather have Evan Mobley come in and give me 2, 3, 4 minutes and then go sit back down than guy number 12 on my bench. They didn't even dress. It wasn't even an option. They were in street clothes. So Kenny didn't even give himself the option to just throw them in there for a minute. I get Darius Garland got toe issues. He couldn't give me a minute. He couldn't give me 3 minutes to just come in and shake things up a little bit. I don't know. That's why you have a deep bench. If your starters aren't hitting, if those shots aren't falling, if you're down 41 points at halftime, try somebody else, see if they can hit a ball. Figure out who's got the hot hand. Somebody will hit one. You know what I mean? That was frustrating for me from a coaching perspective last night. Because you're right, they couldn't hit nothing. And I didn't feel like he was rotating other players in to see if maybe somebody else was going to figure out how to hit a basket.
All right, we're going to take a break right quick. So you are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Turn it up, WOVU family. Yes, we're celebrating 7 amazing years of WOVU 95.9 FM, the heartbeat of the community. Man, let's keep the music playing, the stories flowing, and the energy high. Happy anniversary, WOVU, mission driven 24/7. From your girl, your favorite marriage and family therapist, to get you together, Google herself, and host of Damage Control, Aquila Wheatley. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the platform to do what I do.
Support for WOVU 95.9 FM comes from CMSD.
In an ideal world, every neighborhood, no matter where a kid lives, no matter their background, they can choose any school they can go to and guarantee that they have high quality options. And we've already started to do this work. And, there are pockets of excellence throughout our system. That's what the future looks like.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. Remember to keep us locked on your regular radio dial at 95.9 FM. You can listen online at WOVU.org. You can also download that WOVU app so you can take us with you on the go. And then last but not least, you can also listen to us on iHeartRadio.com. So I'm here with my ladies, Sandy Scott and Miss Kate. All right, Cleveland Kate. I don't really use your government name, Cleveland Kate. I'm sorry about that.
Use it. Call me Cleveland Kate.
Cleveland Kate, I'm sorry, my bad. And we were just talking some Cavs basketball. One of the things that's an issue too is Kenny is getting out coached. I don't think he's calling timeouts at the proper time. Yesterday, when they was starting to really get away, I don't believe he was calling timeouts when he needed to. I understand that he feels like this team needs to work through this situation, but it wasn't happening, and it was just piling on. And I don't know what he's saying to these teams during the timeouts, but somebody needs to go ahead and give a speech. What's one of those, sports movies where somebody gives
Hoosiers, yeah. Hoosiers.
He should have gave him a passionate speech like that, because this team wasn't responding. And somebody, U.S. said Donovan Mitchell had been there before. Max Strus has played in the finals. Max Strus could have got up and said something. I'm sure he's respected amongst his peers. Tristan Thompson could have got up and said something. And I'm wondering now what Tristan Thompson is saying to this team, since he was in a situation where he had to come back 3-1. But one of the things what we had talked about, Kate, before you got here was that Indiana, I think they want to get past Boston. Last year they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to Boston. Even though they had an opportunity to win the first 2 games, they lost. I believe they want to get back, and nobody has paid attention to them all season long. So I believe that they're like, we're going to annihilate the Cleveland Cavaliers because this whole season they've done everything to prepare for Boston, and they didn't do anything to prepare for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder because nobody's talking about them, and they got something to prove. But I want to touch on what you said about Kenny Atkinson and the timeouts. I completely agree. I also think we talked about it a little bit during the season, some questionable times when the coaches challenges. And I'm like, you know what? He's backing his players. If Donovan says it wasn't on him, he's going to challenge that and stuff. I thought when he got to the playoffs, he would be a little more judicious in when he was using his challenge. He's using some of them on who the ball went out on that don't mean nothing. You need to save those for something that could affect the game. And there have been situations where he couldn't challenge a foul or something in the fourth quarter because he wasted a coach's challenge on an out-of-bounds call in the first quarter or the second quarter. So I wish he would make better coaching decisions on when to challenge.
Yeah, the players be telling them, and I'm like you said, that's piddly. At the end of the day, you need to be challenging on stuff that's crucial to the game, and they pretty much win their challenges. He's did a good job over the season of winning that.
Oh yeah, but lately he has not been in the playoffs, and I think there's a difference between backing your players in the regular season and being a lot more strategic in the playoffs, saying to your guy, listen, my man, I believe you. I want to challenge, but on the off chance that you're wrong or that there isn't tape to prove you're wrong and I lose my challenge, this is the playoffs. I need to make sure I've got a challenge in case something critical happens later, like somebody's sixth foul that you need to challenge or something else. So I would hope he'll be a little more careful with those, because he could end up with 1 game left this season. It's 1 or 3.
Yeah, I think it's very ironic that he did win NBA Coach of the Year, and he's having this challenge with managing the time and managing team, which is critical. The thing is, you always need to hold back on your timeouts so you have some maneuvering room, like in the second game when they blew a 20-something point lead and it was only 3 points left in like the last 20 seconds. And then a guy goes to the free throw line. We end up with 1.5 seconds left to shoot a ball when we had just been put back by 3 points. There's nothing we could do. There was nothing we could do but just go like, it went in.
Timeouts to me are strategic as well. It's not necessarily my team needs a break. It's they just got 6-8 points in a row. They're on an 8-0 run. We need to slow this down. We need to take a timeout. We need to stop, take a breath.
Yeah.
Namaste. We're getting to the end of the game, and they're going to use it. They got 20 seconds left on a 24-second clock. We need to be able to stop that clock and get that ball back. So he needs to, I think, shift. I don't know that he's mentally shifted from regular season mode to playoff mode. I think Miami was too easy. And if they want to say that they're a championship caliber team, then they need to go win 3.
Yeah.
Show me. If you can go win 3, I will believe you can go all the way. I will not be scared of Boston if you can win the next 3. You need that. The next 3 to me is not about talent. It's about mental toughness.
It is about mental toughness.
Mentally ready to be the champions of the NBA.
Are they ready to bring the physicality?
Yes, I agree. Yep.
This team, you think they're ready to?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. I think Evan Mobley needs another year. Evan Mobley he can be defensive player of the year, but that don't mean he's ready to carry a team on his back.
Right.
The way he needs to. They're not physical enough, and they're not. That's not what their strength is. Their strength is their depth. Is being able, somebody's having an off night, put someone else in, and they'll hit those shots. It's not. I didn't see that last night.
Right. Not only are they not physically intimidating enough in action or in mindset, they're wounded warriors now. I mean, everybody's got something wrong. I mean, our front 4, and that's bad. It's really bad. And I think that might be undermining their self-confidence too, with the injuries and stuff, because they're not really playing, at 100% because we've got injuries and they're piling up. And when you're playing a formidable team like the Pacers, I mean, Pacers are like, And we got to get some of that. And I don't know how we're going to get it in the shape we are in now.
Yep.
I can't believe we talking about the Pacers like this.
I know. I know.
Talking about the Pacers.
But they're doing it on the court, right?
Huh?
What I want to see is what I saw to Donovan Mitchell in Miami when they were, jibber jabbering and coming at us. So that he put his game face on. He got it done. He's like, I'm gonna do my talking on the court, and we did, and we handled it. We started slipping away, and we reeled it back in. This started slipping away. I don't know what last night was. Last night was an embarrassment. You only put up 16 points in the entire second quarter. I don't know that they've had a lower scoring quarter the entire season. That's just I don't know mentally how you fight back from being down 41 points at halftime. I mean, they got it to 20, but you let it go too far. So it's going to be tough. They can do it. It's just going to be tough. I feel like I keep saying that. Talent-wise, they can do it.
I mean, but we know they can,
Yeah.
One of the things is I think Cavs basketball, they've gotten by on skill. They haven't had to use physicality. And I don't think that's who they are. That's just not who this team is because they're a highly skilled team. So, but the thing is, this is the playoffs and things have ratcheted up. Kind of reminds me of those Detroit Pistons that the Cleveland Cavaliers had to go through to get to the finals in 2007. So for a couple years before they could slay Detroit and finally advance, it reminds me of those teams against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where one person had to do everything, and that was Donovan Mitchell. So game 2, scoring 48 points. Still getting knocked down every possession almost, and every time I see him go to the floor, I just hold my breath. And it reminds me of that game where LeBron scored the last 29 points of the game. I think it was game 5. He scored the last 29 points of the game, and nobody wanted to do anything. Everybody wanted to pass the ball to him, and people were scared to take a shot. I need these people, the bench, to take a shot. I can't remember what his name is, last name Green, I believe. And he was given the ball, and he just got it back to Donovan. Instead of shooting like an open jumper, he was wide open. I'm like, what is going on here? You can't have Donovan do everything. You're in the NBA for a reason as well. You can't have Donovan Mitchell do everything. So they have to get within themselves and go back to playing Cavs basketball and ramp up the physicality a little bit.
Yeah, they need to play Cavs basketball, and that is everybody takes a shot. Everyone gets theirs. We got a bench. We got deep reserves for a reason. Donovan don't have to play 48 minutes, and he don't have to score 48 points. The rest of y'all best carry your part of that load. That's what got us here. I know we've had some injuries during the season. I don't know that we had 3 people down at once like this, but we were doing next man up all year. So I don't know. For me, it keeps going back to game 2. That game 2 loss at the buzzer, I think did something to them because we win that game and then we win game 3. Now we're in Indiana. We're up 2-1. I think last night maybe goes very differently. Or you can write it off and say, you know what? They were bound to have a bad night. You had a night where just everybody was off. There was no next man to come pick you up. The problem is you done dug yourself a hole now. Now you got to win 3. And maybe they will go on a 3-0 run. But it's going to make me nervous about facing Boston or the Knicks or whoever else I got to go see. I'm struggling, Rachel, because I can't stand the Knicks. And I mean, I can't stand the Celtics. And I can't stand Spike Lee. So I don't know who I don't want to watch more in the next series.
Actually, Spike Lee is really nice. And
apparently he's very nice when he's not at a game. When he's, I don't know, he looks like Flava Flav put on basketball gear.
Okay, come on now.
His level of fandom. It needs to come. I don't know. I don't feel like it's real anymore. I feel like he's just trying to get himself some camera time.
Oh, he doesn't care about camera time. He's an actual fan. I respect Spike's passion. I really do. But
you see his outfits? Come on. Girl.
Yeah. He actually spoke to me first, which is really rare of a celebrity, So I was taken back by that, but we got to talking. I was talking my trash. I'm like, the Cavs about to win. We about to do this. What you come to town for? Happy to see you, but you about to go home sad. Yeah, I was the one who left out sad. So really nice guy. So, but like you said, Kate, can we get through other teams as well? And I just don't know. We struggling to get through we're
The
struggling to get
Pacers.
through the Pacers right now. So what if we did play Boston? I'm hoping New York take them out. But remember, we had an issue getting past New York 2 years ago. So we're kind of I'm just stunned. This is really hard for me. I'm just stunned. And it's just like, you went through this regular season tearing everybody, finished a couple games off of the franchise record, and it looked like y'all could do no wrong, and all you had to do was get through Boston, and you're getting to the finals. But you got to get through the Pacers right now.
Yeah.
We wasn't talking
trying to tell the rest of the NBA that you don't need a superstar. I don't need Seth Curry. I don't need Jokic. I don't need Luka Doncic. I don't need this one guy that's going to be everything. We're doing it as a team. We got a bench. We got deep reserves. We're not playing more than 40 minutes. We're rotating. We got a 10-man rotation. You're trying to tell the rest of the NBA that this is the new way to build a team. Well, it's a new way to get to the playoffs, but you ain't getting past them.
Mm-hmm. And this will be the second time in a row that we've lost in the conference semis. And in the first year, we lost in the first round. So you think about, this is the third year with this crew that we ain't getting past the second round.
Right.
I can't knock Donovan
They
because
have to find a way to get past this, because you don't want to. I don't want to reinforce this idea that if you have one guy, that's all you need. Look at what's going on with the Warriors. Steph Curry's hurt. With these other teams, you get one guy hurt, and they are beatable. They are human. They are back down at that level. And we were trying to rise above that and say, you know what, we got one guy hurt. We got two. We got three guys hurt. Don't matter. We can still play. And then we're not playing.
Right.
Yeah, and the knock on Donovan has been that he hasn't made it out of the first or second round, but I can't even put any fault on him in this. If they don't make it out of this round, I don't put any fault on Donovan at all. He's did his best to carry this team. He's like a spider mama that carry all the little spider babies on his back. That's what he's done. So I have no issues with Spider Mitchell. So
I don't have issues with the coach or any of the guys on the team. As fans and as media, we're the ones who saw them get off on that 15-game run and went, we're winning. We're winning. We're going to the final. We're winning it all. We are not being realistic about this team. We are not looking at the stages of development, the roadmap for development. And it's exactly what you said, Rachel. They need to improve their physicality. They've improved this, and this. Look at we've gone to the second round. What are we missing? We're missing physicality. All right, now if we can add that to our tool chest for next year, it's a process and it's a roadmap. And I think we're on the road and we're going to get there. But we're the ones who said this year is when we're going to do it. And we need to manage our expectations. I do not feel, as much as I criticize Kenny for a couple things, I do not feel that he or these players have done anything but give 1,000% to what they're trying to do. So I can't even be like, well, if this guy had done this job or this guy had done that job, I feel like they're doing it. It's just a lot of these other teams have those superstars. They have more experience. They understand. They keep it a little low key in the regular season and then turn on that gear here. And we haven't found that gear yet. I think we have it. I just don't know if we can find it. We'll see.
Yeah, because apparently all that matters is you get there, and then when you get there, you can play differently. And the Cavs have gotten there, and they're not playing any differently than they did in the season.
Baseball used to be that way for me because so many teams get to the play. If you just get to the playoffs, in football it's more difficult. Even if you get in as a wild card, it's a lot more difficult to run your way all the way through. But at least if you're still playing the way you play. I think in baseball and football, you're still playing the way you play. In basketball, I've seen quite a few of these teams playing a completely different game from what I saw during the regular season. And maybe we're predictable. Maybe from a defensive standpoint, they already know what we're going to do, and they're working on stopping those things that we do well.
Hey, do you think we have another gear we can get to? The Cavs? Do you think they do have another gear?
I do. I don't know how to tell
how to
them
turn it on.
I don't know how they can find it.
Yeah.
But I do think they do.
It's in there, but like you said, can they access and turn it on? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Are you willing to get away and play desperation like you've never played before? Are you willing to play a different style basketball to get through this? And that's the thing. And George says adding to the team may be harder next season. The extensions start for certain players on the wine and gold. The salary cap will have a say to a direction for 25, 26. And George is absolutely right about that. We'll talk more about that. Then we'll give a score update for the game, and then we'll get into some Browns. Rookie minicamp just took place. So Shador Sanders was in town. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Hi, this is the beautiful Miss Lovely of the Gospel Music Historical Society. Happy 7th anniversary to WOVU 95.9 FM, the voice of the village. For 7 years, we've been bringing you the sounds, stories, and spirit of our community. And we couldn't have done it without you, our amazing listeners. Here's to many more years of connection and empowerment. Thank you for supporting us, mission-driven 24/7.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. That was a quick little break, ladies. Wanted to get back, give a score update. Right now, the score is 0-0 in the top of the second inning top of the third inning, against the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Guardians did not have a good weekend against the Philadelphia Phillies. Kyle Schwarber is a name that will continue to haunt us for life, I think, and I can't wait till that dude is ready to retire. But he was one of the issues against the Indians at the time in the World Series of 2016, and he was an issue against the Cleveland Guardians this past series, where he's reached base, I think, 40, almost 50 times in a row. So that's just a testament to a great player he is. But Cleveland Clay, I'm glad that you are here today, because we're gonna get into some Cleveland Browns talk a little bit. And rookie minicamp just took place this past weekend. Shador has been in town since he's been drafted, but there has been some slight comparisons with Dillon Gabriel and Shador Sanders. And first of all, I know that you wanted them to pick Travis Hunter, but they ended up trading that pick. So sorry, he's with Jacksonville now. But slight polls have been conducted with media people here that's had a chance to see the both of them, and so far they said slightly the edge has been given to Shador Sanders over Dillon Gabriel, just by what they saw over the weekend at rookie minicamp. What are your thoughts about that?
Dillon Gabriel is short.
How short is he?
As short as Baker Mayfield was. He can't see over the offensive line, and we don't pull the line well enough to make passing lanes for him. I don't know why we drafted it. I loved the Browns draft until they took Dillon Gabriel. And I loved him as a quarterback at Oregon. I watched him play with the Ducks. I watched what he did to Ohio State in the regular season. I watched him in the playoffs. Kid's got talent at the college level. He is not tall enough to play in the pros, not when every other position is bigger, badder, faster, stronger. I don't know what they were thinking. And then I wish somebody would please tell me which NFL executive called Jimmy Haslam and told him to take Shador Sanders, because it was getting out of hand and he needed to go somewhere. I don't mind him being here. I don't know if he's the kind of quarterback who will play better with a chip on his shoulder, because he seriously got a chip on his shoulder. He feels disrespected by not going until he went. He should have gone sooner. I agree with them. I don't know what. I've tapped quite a few of my sources, and nobody's talking about whatever it is that the scouts don't like about him. I think he has potential. But I will say this. The nice thing is both of them were taken late enough that I don't expect either one of them to start this year. This year's battle is going to be between Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett knows the AFC North. He's got experience playing against all these teams. I think that we are a better system for him. They had no run game in Pittsburgh. We have a much better offensive system for his kind of football. And I think there's a very good possibility that Kenny will be my starting quarterback week 1, and I'm okay with that.
Did Shador go to the combine?
Yes, he did. He did not work out, but he talked at the combine. Kevin Stefanski had a meeting with him and said he was a very nice young man, answered all their questions, had nothing but nice things to say about him. Everyone I know who talked to him said he was very cocky, but they had good conversations with them. Nothing threw him. I mean, he's Deion's kid, right? He's been raised in the spotlight. If anyone is going to be able to handle a press conference standing in front of the media, it's Shador. It's one of the reasons why I liked him better than Cam Ward. I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are ready this year for the NFL. I think they both have things they need to work on because the speed with which defenses are going to come at them, they're going to need a little time to get adjusted to that. But if I had to pick between the two, because I wasn't getting Travis Hunter, I preferred Shador. I just don't know if taking him as late as we did is going to make him angry and he's just going to pout in the corner and be difficult because he's upset that he went to Cleveland and he went that late. Or if it really is part of God's plan and now he's going to work and now he's going to show and he's going to prove that he's better than whatever it is people thought by making him wait so long. I don't have an issue with them. The couple times that I heard him speak, I didn't have an issue with them. I'm used to these players, especially at the combine. It's all me. This is a job interview for them. They have to talk themselves up because they're trying to get the attention of teams to come to their senior days and to scout them and to want them in their locker room. And so they want to get drafted. A lot of them, if you ask them about their teammates, they will say really nice things about their teammates, but didn't nobody ask Shador about his teammates other than Travis Hunter? Did nobody ask him about any of his receivers that were coming out? All the other quarterbacks got asked that. Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, they all said nice things about their fellow teammates. And then people were like, Shador didn't say anything about his receivers. And I said, did you ask him anything?
Yeah, how big was that scrum?
You didn't ask him. What's he going to do? He's not going to just start saying stuff. So
Right.
I think I like his potential. We'll see what he can do. I'm more concerned going into this season with what we're going to do. Are we going to let Nick Chubb go? Do I need to start breaking my emotional ties with Nick Chubb right now? I don't know.
I think you do.
I say yes. You have to break your emotional tie with Nick Chubb. I think it broke the last time he got hurt. I just went, because it seems like the clock is ticking.
But there was back, and there was the letter, and everybody loved him. And I get that there are salary caps, and they can only pay so much, and they can only spend this much. I would like to think I live in this. Welcome to Kate's fantasy world. Where a player actually cares, where there's more than one Jose Ramirez in the world.
Yeah.
Where players learn from watching Francisco Lindor go to New York and be miserable that there's no place like home. Maybe you take less money to stay home where you're comfortable and people are nice to you.
Right.
So let's go to Kate's fantasy world. And maybe in Kate's fantasy world, Nick Chubb's agent saying, listen, we'll stay for league minimum. He just wants to stay here. He wants to stay in Cleveland. He's comfortable here. The fans love him. He wants to stay here. And the Browns say, okay, and they sign him. And maybe it's not league minimum. Maybe it's definitely not league minimum, like running back minimum, $4, $5, $6 million a year. I love throwing out these numbers like it ain't $5, $6 an hour.
Right.
$5, $6 million a year. I don't know what he could get on the free agent market. I don't know what his value is because I don't know how teams view that injury and how much life he has left since of the injury. But I would like to think that he's offering Cleveland to stay here at a discounted rate, and then that eventually they'll say yes. But then listening to Andrew Berry the other day where he said it was unlikely, I'm going to guess they've already started having conversations, and that's not the way it's going to go. And I get it. I ain't going to mess with somebody's money. Nick needs to make better money, and he needs to go somewhere. I will never interfere with someone making their money. I will wish him well. He will always have a place in my heart. He will always be a part of my football history. I do love that I got me a Buckeye named Quinshon Junkins.
Mm-hmm.
He and David Njoku got the same hairstylist, I think. Getting Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green at tight end I thought was very interesting because I think, Rachel, I was telling you at the Combine, he's the one that when they were doing the interview sessions, almost every person they were asking him questions was from the Browns, and all they kept asking him was, well, you're at Bowling Green and their colors are brown and orange. Would you like to play for the Browns in brown and orange? And wouldn't you like to be? And you're from Menor or wherever he's from. Wouldn't you like to play? And he's doing the thing they all do. I would just like to play in the NFL, sir. I would just like, I will give my heart and soul to whatever team drafts me. I will go anywhere. Like, they're never going to pick. And then finally someone said, you have a brother, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, do you think your brother will be all excited to see you play for the Browns? And he's like, wow, actually my brother's a Steelers fan. And I'm like, do you people you don't look at pictures on Instagram of dude in a black and gold jersey? Like, how do you not? I felt so bad. I'm like, I hope we don't draft him. He's 6'9" or something insane. I watch a lot of MAC football. I went to Bowling Green because their colors were brown and orange. Yes, I did. I was there from 84 to 87. I like him a lot. I like his game a lot. I didn't want him to come to Cleveland. I wanted him to go somewhere where he would have some time. We got it in Njoku. He's not going to be starting right off the bat. But David has also had some issues. He needs a break every once in a while. So maybe he would be a good guy to have the Chief kind of bring Harold up. So I loved that draft pick. I loved Mason Graham. I loved everything we did, really, until we got Dylan Gabriel. I'm sorry. He's 5'11". He's 5'10" in flat feet. He's 5'11" in his shoes. It's just not that NFL anymore. I just don't understand what they were thinking. And then once they took him, I don't know why they got Shador.
They said that Dylan Gabriel was a Stefanski thing. That he felt that that's the prototypical quarterback that can run his offense.
So,
but is he going to win with that kind of offense?
Talent-wise, yeah. But if you're going to run his offense and you're 5'11", you need a lot of help from your offensive line. And we didn't do a whole lot to improve our offensive line depth. And we've had a ton of injuries on that line. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do that, then you're not taking Mason Graham in the first round to help your defense. You're taking Abdul Carter at 2. You know what I mean? You're taking, well, Abdul's on defense too. You're taking an offensive guy in the first round, and we didn't do that. So I don't know that Dylan on his own can run Stefanski's defense or offense without us doing something with the offensive line. I don't, especially when he's 5'11". Mm-hmm. He can't see over the line. You get a safety jumping up the middle, and he's not going to see any of the receivers back. Well, that was Baker's problem for how many years? It took him really until he got to Tampa. You watch that line in Tampa, the way they move. They don't move the way other offensive lines move. They move, and I can tell by the way they move where Baker's supposed to be going with that ball. Mm-hmm. You got 5 guys up front, and sometimes 4 of them will go this way and 1 will go that way, and that's that lane they're opening for Baker so he can see because he's 5'11". I don't know that this offensive line is good enough to give him the passing lanes he needs. At the same time, he didn't go top 2 in the draft, so he don't need to start this year. So if we need to take some time, take a little bit of time. I'm going to start singing. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some time. Yeah.
Is that a real song?
It is. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Yep.
That'll be our Brown song.
Who made that song?
I can't say, but I remember it.
Healthy. I think I love DTR's skills, but I think he is in a better place. I feel like he died. He's in a better place now.
I know. I was about to say, what?
That about Amari Cooper and Darius Smith and everybody else. He's in a better place.
Which always happens when we let somebody go. They go to a better place. How is that possible?
It's because it's just a different system. Look at Arnold, all those years in Carolina that he struggled to get to Minnesota, and he's doing fine. There's not necessarily anything wrong with our system, but if you got round pegs and you're trying to put them into a Stefanski triangle hole, they're not going to fit. So they got to go find someplace. I think when we draft, I think all teams do this. I think a lot of teams do, not all. The teams that do not draft well, draft players they like and then want to turn them into what they want them to be. Whereas teams who draft well draft someone who fits their system and what they need. So they don't have to change them. Don't change me. Football players are men, but they're like men. You can't change a man. If he's dropping his socks on the floor today, he's going to drop his socks on the floor tomorrow and 50 years from now. You need to learn if you can live with him dropping his socks on the floor. People in general do not change. Keep a little bit of change, not drastic change. And too many teams like the statistics and the shape and the physicality and the athleticism of these players, but they don't pay attention on film to what they do, and we don't do the same thing, and they think it's just that easy, and it's not. They've been playing muscle memory. A lot of these kids played in college the same way they played in high school. So now they've got 8 years, 6 to 8 years of the exact same system and way of doing things. And we don't give them enough time to try to teach them something new. We give them some rookie mini camp and summer. And then in the fall, we're like, all right, go. And we're like, it took me, 6 to 8 years to learn how to do this. And you're trying to unlearn all the muscle memory of the way I used to do things. So I like the more versatile players. I like on the offensive line, I like a guy who's played guard and center and tackle because there were injuries and he wanted to start. So they moved him all over. He understands. He can move all over. He will be fine.
I got a quick update for the Guardians. It looks like Ben Lively has left the game with an injury and has went into the clubhouse. So I'm not sure who's about to come in for him, but I don't think anybody was warming up for him. So they keep shining the camera at the door to see who's going to come out. So yeah, we got a injury right now with Ben Lively. So he was one of the pitchers who is pitching well for the Guardians. So that's an injury that we don't really need now. So got a question for you ladies. How do you feel about the JOK situation? He's been put on the physically unable to perform list, so he will not be playing in the game in 2025. I don't understand why the Browns are being so vague about what's going on with him.
I think it's because the injury is really, really serious and they don't really know how to categorize it because, they don't know. He could get better, but it's probably limited or it's doubtful. And they don't want to put it out there because each person who has this kind of injury is different. But I was shocked and disappointed when I heard that they didn't expect him to be back for this season at all. So I don't know what that bodes for him. I was listening to some broadcast earlier today, and they were saying that, because he's known to be a very positive person, a good person. He has a lot of talents and stuff like that. And it's almost like people were summing up his career as maybe being over. And when you have such a serious injury, it can be like that. They said, well, he's very versatile. He's very intelligent. He reads a lot of books. He's a great guy and he will land on his feet. He's going to be okay, but not necessarily in football. That was a lot of the reports that I heard, but I was really just disappointed to hear this about JOK. So,
hey, I know you were a big fan of him coming out of Notre Dame.
I love him. He's quiet for someone who plays the position he plays in real life and in the community. He's quiet. He's a man of faith. He's a man of family. He's very private about some things, and I worry that this neck injury is this serious because it happened like week 8 last year, missed the whole rest of the season. They wouldn't really say what it was. A bunch of people were complaining about that. And I'm like, listen, they already violate a whole lot of HIPAA laws that apply to us by sharing details of some of these medical things that the players go through because that's an NFL thing. They have to give up some of their privacy. I think this must be really serious if they're keeping the details of it to themselves. For him to be out again another year, I'm even more concerned about what the injury is and what his long-term health is. I would almost prefer somebody to tell me he's never going to play football again because I feel like this is the kind of injury where if he hurts it, it could kill him. You know what? You don't need to play again. We'll find some things for you. We'll find some coaching for you. He made a statement, kind of about it that just said, he thanked, he wants to play. The game is a part of him. He wants to play, but he's got to take care of his health first. And I will never disrespect a player who is taking care of themselves. I feel too many times we can go back to Baker. Too many times Baker said, put me in, coach, and Baker won healthy. And the coaches are like, okay, even though the medical staff is like, he's not healthy. They're willing to just, we'll talk about basketball. How many times have we seen a certain New York Knick head off to the locker room and come back out and play like ain't nothing wrong? There were some injections going on in the locker room. I'll say it. There was some stuff going on. You risk further injury when you do that. And there's this this mentality, this stereotype that if you're a man, you can play through the pain and you can get out there. There's a huge difference between playing hurt and playing injured. If you're hurt, I played hurt. I've gone to work hurt. I've had to watch my own children when I was hurt. Hurt is hurt. Injured is when you are not even close to 100%, and now your situation is hurting. Your injury is hurting everyone else. JOK isn't hurt. He's injured. And and I completely believe that this could be a life-threatening injury if it's not handled right. And so if I hear anybody in my presence say he's being a wuss for not playing, it's on.
All right, ladies, that was an excellent show. I appreciate both of you.
How are we done?
Yeah, it's 6:59 and Chris about to cut me off. So thanks everyone for listening. You've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We are out of here.